Good evening, geometry students. Tonight we're doing Module 3, Topic 2. This is Statements, Conditionals, and Biconditionals. Our standard for today is LT 4.3. Let's identify and accurately interpret if-then, if and only if, all, and not statements. Find the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of a statement. We also have standard LT 4.10, which was also for topic 1, judge the validity of arguments and give counterexamples to disprove statements. Objective for this lesson, you guys are going to write and analyze compound statements using logic. Start with the bell ringer, wait about 3 seconds. Work this by yourself and pause it, and then come back and see what we have together here. Excuse me. Okay, bell ringer. Number 1. If an object is red, then it is not blue. Would it be true or false? Can something be red and blue at the same time? Only if it's purple, and that's overstretching the boundaries. So this would be true. If something's red, it's not blue. Number 2, if an object is not red, then it is not blue. Well, what if it's yellow? That's not red and not blue. Or what if it's green? That's also not red and not blue. So this one's going to be false. Number 3, if an object is not blue, then it is not red. So again, if it's not blue, it's not red, what if it's white? What if it's black? What if it's clear? You know? So again, false. Number 4, if an object is blue, then it is not red. Okay, well, the Earth is blue. It is not red like Mars, so obviously that's true. Number 5 says rewrite this statement as a true if-then statement. An even number is divisible by 2. And then to make it an if-then, it would be if a number is even, then it's divisible by 2. So, if, then. Okay, move on to the guided notes and scoot this way up here. Give me just a moment to write in the words. Okay, a statement is any sentence that is either true or false, but not both. Truth value is the truth or falsity of a statement. Statements are often represented using letters such as P or Q, and I can tell you that's what we're using. It'll be a P statement and a Q statement. If a statement is represented by P, then not P, or P in this little symbol here that looks like the little symbol above the equal sign that makes it congruent. Or if you take Spanish, or no Spanish, the tilde. But anyway, that means not P. So the opposite, or that's a negation of the statement. That's what it means to negate the statement. It's the opposite, or falsity. The negation of a statement has the opposite meaning as well as the opposite truth value of the original statement. So let's take a quick look here. Number 1, page 4. Write the negation of each statement and its truth value. So our P statement says Justin's birthday is this week, and it's true. Not P, well, that would be Justin's, I'm just going to say B-Day because we write enough. is not this week. Or I could have said Justin's birthday is next week. And this truth value would be false, because if this is true, then what I'm saying is the opposite of that, so it's false. Alright, part 2 here, the Q statement. All students studied for the test, and that's false. The opposite here would be that all students, or all these students as it says, did not study for the test. And if up here they studied was false, then the fact that they did not study is true. Hope you're following along so far. Number 2 is a you do. Please pause the video here. I'm going to wait 3 seconds and then I'm going to continue. Alright, number 2. Write a negation of each statement its truth value. P statement is it's raining outside, and that's false. Well, how about I say it's not raining? It is not raining outside. If they're saying this is false, then what I'm saying is true. And then below the Q statement, everyone loves broccoli, and that's false. Why? Because everyone, you could either say hates, I suppose, but we're going to say does not love broccoli. That was false, so this is true. Just going to scoot us down here to our guided notes. Try to set us up where we can finish off the page without me having to move. Alright, guided notes. 2 or more statements joined by the word and or that form a compound statement. Okay. So a compound statement using the word and is called a conjunction. A conjunction is true only when both the statements that form it are true. A conjunction is written as P and Q, or P in the little, say it's the arrow up, Q. This means P and Q, and in this case both have to be true. So here in a minute, when it asks you P and Q, like you see below, that means both of them have to be true. And if they're not, then the whole thing's false. Now down here, a compound statement using the word or is called a disjunction. A disjunction is true when at least one of the statements is true. A disjunction is written as P or Q, and this one, it looks like a V, but it's actually the arrow down. This is an arrow up, that means and. Arrow down means or. Arrow up means and, arrow down means or. You will hear me say that a few times in the next couple of weeks. Alright, below here, number 1. Write each compound statement and its truth value. And understand we're accepting what they're saying is truth. Okay? So they're telling us that Larry likes pizza. They're also telling us that Larry likes pie. So P and Q. Well, for here, remember it says that the conjunction, it has the and, they both have to be true. Well, they both are true. So our P and Q is going to be Larry likes pizza and Larry likes pie. Okay? Now, below here is the or. And for this, either one have to be true. Now, in our case, both are true, so this would be true anyway. But it would be Larry likes pizza, or Larry likes pie. So, not much to this so far. Before you do, I'm going to wait 3 seconds before continuing. Please pause. Number 4, write each compound statement in its truth value. Lauren swims. That's our P statement. And they're telling us it's false. Lauren doesn't swim at all. Q statement, Lauren plays volleyball, and that is true. And it's true because she doesn't swim, because they lied to us on the P statement. So anyway, so P and Q. Oh, let me go back here just a second. Rewind the tape. Over here, remember, for and to be true, they both have to be true, and they both were. Larry likes pizza and pie. And then this one, it was or, but he likes them both, so they're both true anyway. But let's say it said Larry likes hot dogs, or Larry likes pie. Well, because it says or, and he does like pie, it would be true. Sorry. Now, back over here, number 4. Lauren swims, that's false. She plays volleyball. P and Q. And we're going to shorten this. We're going to say Lauren swims and plays volleyball. And does she swim? Nope. So this whole thing's false because they both have to be true in order for this whole thing to be true. So because she doesn't swim, the whole thing's false. Alright. P or Q. So Lauren swims, or she plays volleyball. Okay, well, she doesn't swim, so that's false, but she does play volleyball. And because this requires one of those two statements to be true, this is true. So again, P and Q means P and Q have to be true. P or Q means P or Q has to be true. One, not both. And, both, or one or the other. Cool. Let's go to page 5. Okay, give me just a moment here. Write in some notes for you. Sorry guys, hang on 1 second. Okay. A conditional statement is a compound statement that consists of a premise or hypothesis and a conclusion, which is false only when its hypothesis is true and its conclusion is false. Let me read that again. A conditional statement is a compound statement that consists of a premise or a hypothesis and a conclusion, which is only false if the hypothesis is true and the conclusion is false. So remember, that's the only way that this thing can be false, is if the hypothesis is true and the conclusion is false. So keep that in the back of your mind. So parts of if-then statements. An if-then statement, an if-then is a compound statement of the form if P then Q, where P and Q are statements. Symbols P and then the arrow to the right Q read if P then Q. So this means if P then Q, or P implies Q. If it rains, then the parade will be canceled. So that's the if-then. If it rains, then the parade will be canceled. So if P, then Q. Okay. The hypothesis of the if-then is the phrase that immediately follows the word if. It rains. So the if here is it rains, if it rains. The conclusion is a phrase immediately after the then. Parade's canceled. If it rains, then parade's canceled. Okay? Move down here. Number 5. Identify the hypothesis and the conclusion of each conditional statement. If a polygon has 6 sides, then it's a hexagon. So all we're doing here is identifying the hypothesis and the conclusion. Well, it told us up here, you can't see it now, hypothesis immediately follows the if. So your hypothesis for this one, I'm just going to put an H, is a polygon has 6 sides. The conclusion immediately follows then. It's a hexagon. That's our conclusion. That's what they're asking for. So down here we have another statement written a little different. Another performance will be scheduled if the first one's canceled. So the first one is, or I'm sorry, sold out, not canceled. Got to read all the words. So the if part of this, or the hypothesis, is the first one is sold out. The conclusion is, and there's no then here because it starts out, you can't say then another performance will be scheduled if the first one's canceled. It's just not proper English. So this here, another performance will be scheduled, is the conclusion there. So you can start with the conclusion. That's the point of this for you. Alright, number 6 is an I do. You know the drill. Alright, number 6. Identify the hypothesis and conclusion of each conditional statement. If A is the midpoint of BC, then AB is congruent to AC. Alright, so there's your if. So A is the midpoint of BC. That's your hypothesis. There's your then. So your conclusion is that AB is congruent to AC. Okay, part B. I am going to start walking everywhere if the gas prices increase. Here's our if. So the gas prices increase. That's our hypothesis. And then I'm going to start walking everywhere is the conclusion. That's the conclusion to if the gas prices keep rising. Alright, a little more vocabulary, a couple more practices here on this page, and then we've got the same thing on the last page here. Just got to go over the different types of these compound statements. So the next one we have is the converse, not the shoe. The converse is formed by exchanging the hypothesis and conclusion of the conditional. The symbols are Q, arrow P. Read if Q then P, it implies that that Q implies P. If the parade is canceled, then it rained. So you notice it was a little different than if it rains, then the parade was canceled. So it's saying the same thing, just saying different implications because of the way it's worded. So number 7, write the converse of the statement. If Alexa works tonight, then she will miss band practice. So our converse would be, we're going to flip, this would be our P, this would be our Q. Scratch that. Well, yeah, that's right. Sorry, here we go. So, the converse for this. If Alexa misses band practice, then she worked tonight. So we just swapped it up. Instead of talking about work then band, we talked about band then work. Number 8, so you do 3 seconds. You know the drill. Write the converse of each of the statement. If I spend hours on TikTok, then I won't get my homework done. It's a very true statement. So let's write the converse. So we're talking about TikTok, homework. How about we talk about homework first? Let's change colors so we don't. If I didn't finish my homework, then I spent hours on TikTok. So there's your converse there. Flip over to page 6. I believe that's the last of this lesson. Let's see, yep, 7 is independent practice. Yeah, let's do the vocabulary, get this bad boy knocked out real quick. All right, next one here is the inverse. This is formed by negating both the hypothesis and the conditional. So this one, remember the tilde or the little mark above the equal sign that makes it congruent. This stands for not P, then not Q. See, red, if not P, then not Q. Well, that means not, so just get used to that. Example, if it does not rain, then the parade will not be canceled. You notice these statements are kind of the same, kind of different. Hopefully you kind of see where the gist of this is going. So number 9, write the inverse of the following statement. If I forget to eat dinner, then I will be hungry tomorrow. So the inverse here is taking the first part, the P, and the Q, but making it not. So if I don't forget to eat dinner, then I won't be hungry tomorrow. Okay, number 10 is a you do. 3 seconds to pause. All right, number 10. Write the inverse of the following statement. If the Jags win another game, they will go to the Super Bowl. Well, it's week 2. You're going to have to win more than one game. But anyway, that's not what they're looking for. We're going to give them the inverse, so not P. So if they don't win another game, then not Q. So if the Jags don't win another game, then they won't go to the Super Bowl. I can tell you that's a true statement. If they don't win another game this season, they would be winless, and they would certainly not be going to the Super Bowl. But let's hope for a better season than that. I think we all would be happy to see that. All right, last little bit of guided notes, couple more little problems, a little bit of writing here at the bottom, so just fair warning. So vocabulary here, let me write this in. All right, so for this last guy here, the contrapositive is formed by negating both the hypothesis and the conclusion of the converse of the conditional. So we're flipping P and Q and we're making them both not. So it's not Q. If not Q, then not P. If the parade does not get canceled, it did not rain. So again, a little different. Number 11, we're going to write a contrapositive. It says, if I study, then I'll pass the test. So if I study, that's the P, then I'll pass the test. That's the Q. So we're going to negate the Q. So if I don't pass the test, then we're going to negate the P. Then I didn't study. Okay. Hopefully that makes a little sense for y'all. Number 12. So you do. 3 seconds. All right, write the contrapositive for the following statement. If Marcus goes to football practice, then he will win the game. So contrapositive. So here's our P after if. Here's our Q after then. So we got to go not Q, not P. So if Marcus doesn't win the game, then, whoops, sorry, getting a little sloppy on that. Then he didn't go to football practice. Sorry, a little sloppy and off the screen. My apologies. All right, last two. This is a little bit more writing. So I will apologize. We're going to do some writing in geometry. I know y'all didn't expect that for a math class, but yeah, that's the special and fun magic of geometry. I know you can't wait. So number 13, find the converse, the inverse, and the contrapositive of the following statement. So we're going to write this one time each, like we did up here. So let's see. Then identify the truth values. So let's see. So if P then Q is if Nevaeh comes to tutoring, then she will get an A. So if you're going to go Q then P, it would be if Nevaeh gets an A, then she went to tutoring. All right, so for this, it has to be both. Actually, that's for the little up arrow. But so if she gets an A, then she went to tutoring. This is going to be true because these were both. We didn't negate either one. Not P, not Q. If Nevaeh doesn't go to tutoring, then she won't get an A. It's also true. Should have swapped in between. I apologize. So not Q, not P. So if Nevaeh doesn't get an A, then she didn't go to tutoring. And that one is not necessarily true. She could still go to tutoring and not get an A. I think some of these are a little bit open to interpretation, but we'll go with it. All right, number 14. I'm just going to go on into this one since it's a little bit of all three. If you want to pause right here, that would be encouraged if you want to practice on your own. I'm not going to know if you didn't, so we're going to proceed. Find the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the following statement. Then identify the truth values. If you feel sick, then you should go to the doctor. So this is the P, this is the Q. So Q then P is if you go to the doctor, then you feel sick. I have true on here, but I don't necessarily know that that's true, because you can go for other types of checkups, but I'm probably overthinking, so we're just going to continue. Not P, not Q. If you don't feel sick, then you won't go to the doctor. And this one says it's true. And lastly, not Q, not P. So if you don't go to the doctor, then you don't feel sick. And this one said false. Maybe. Kind of up for debate. I think this might be in the way. I'm not sure if my little picture in a picture shows, so I'm going to just pull that up for a second so you guys can see the end of that. This marks the end of Module 3, Topic 2. That's the end of page 6. Page 7 and page 8 are independent practice. Please work these problems. Come see me if you need help. But you guys are waiting till the end and not wanting to practice. We got to practice. We got to practice a little bit. I promise you those test scores will get better if you practice this independent practice. So please work page 8 and 9. Let me know if you have any questions in class, and we will see you next time.